All right, welcome back for more adventures in sentence fluency. We've been working with the complex sentence, which is phenomenal to make your writing more fluent. And today we're going to learn the compound sentence. So that's two more tools for you as writers in your little toolbox: how to use complex and how to use compound to make you sound more sophisticated and interesting when you write. We cannot release you into the world writing little third grade sentence fragments or always using simple sentence. So today we have compound to add with complex. We're going to kick it off with if you give a pig a pancake, a little blast from the past, like if you give a mouse a cookie or a moose a muffin, dog a donut that you might have read in elementary, but they're chock full of complex, compound, and then simple sentences. So we'll use them to identify the difference between them. And then coming at you, a little schoolhouse rock, conjunction, junction, to figure out what is the function of a conjunction and how can we use them to create a compound sentence. And then thinking back to elementary, and you have recess, and you start working on that snowball, that big boulder first recess, and you go back out lunch recess, and you're rolling it with your buddies. It gets a little bigger, and then end of the day recess, this thing is huge, and you jump on it, and you're like jousting each other. So how, when we add different types of special phrases, our sentences snowball and they grow and they become more interesting and really more fun, like that gigantic snow boulder at recess. And lastly, we end the hour with a little hands-on activity, sentence strips. All right. And so I want to think about simple, complex, and then our new learning today, compound. And so if somebody said, Mrs. Prentice, have you ever read the narrative poem, The Highwayman? I could say, I have. Is I have a sentence? Indeed it is. Subject, I have is the verb. It's short, but it's not dependent on more information. I have. And so we have up here my first simple sentence, I have a Nerf gun. So just remember, to be a sentence, you must have a subject, a verb, and a complete thought. I have a Nerf gun. That's just kind of a boring, non-fluent sentence. Mrs. McCaskey has taught you how to use the complex sentence, the miss, which is quite fun. So if I start with an as, a while, or a when, that is a dependent, that makes the opener a dependent clause. It's dependent on more information. When my husband gets home from work, I pepper him with darts. So I say when there's a comma, so you get used to hearing it. So if I just have my husband gets home from work, comma, and I pepper him with darts, that would be compound. But this word when makes the opening clause dependent on more information. So I have my husband, subject, verb is gets, that's what he does, but it can't stand alone. When my husband gets home from work, what? I slam the door in his face, I tell him to go back, I tell him to go to Meijer for a quarter milk, a loaf of bread. What happens, right? When my husband gets home from work, I unload on him with my Nerf darts. Okay? Complex sentence. So you simply have like your as, your while, your after, a comma, and then you have your subject, verb, and you complete the thought. And I bet you can tell what a compound sentence will be. Instead of having a dependent clause that's dependent for information, you'll have two independent clauses or two sentences. Each one can stand alone, but why wouldn't we want to have sentence, period, sentence, period, sentence, period? It would be short, choppy, robotronic, boring sentences. Like I'd say, I have a Lady Rebel Nerf blaster, period. I ambush my husband after work, period. Instead, I will combine those sentences with the conjunction and. I have a Lady Rebel Nerf blaster and I ambush my husband after work. So subject I, verb have, subject I, verb ambush. Two sentences joined together with one of those tiny but powerful words, a conjunction, and, but, or. So we're going to take a look at if you give a pig a pancake. And as we read this book, we're just going to stop, pause, and notice the different types of sentence structures. So got this cute little pig. Oh. And we shall begin. If you give a pig a pancake. It starts with if you give a pig a pancake, and that is a dependent clause. It needs more information. If you give a pig a pancake, she'll want some syrup to go with it. So it opens with a complex sentence. You'll give her some of your favorite maple syrup. Just a simple sentence, subject, verb, you'll give her syrup. She'll probably get all sticky, so she'll want to take a bath. And that's pretty important. I want to pause right here. She'll probably get all sticky. That alone could be a sentence. she'll want to take a bath. That alone could be a sentence. So you have an independent clause, she will get sticky. She will want to take a bath. And you join it with that mighty little conjunction right there, so. So you have a nice compound sentence. She'll get all sticky, so she'll want to take a bath. Continuing on. She'll ask you for some bubbles. Simple sentence. So the writer uses a variety of here. When you give her the bubbles, she'll ask you for a toy. You'll have to find your rubber duck. So that opener of when you give her the bubbles, that's a dependent clause. It requires more information. So you put a comma. She'll ask you for a toy. That is a complex sentence. The duck will remind her of the farm where she was born. She might feel homesick and want to visit her family. So those right there, those are just two simple sentences. But the pig is adorable. Just notice. Just notice. And we'll do one more sentence here. She'll want you to come too. She'll look through your closet for a suitcase. Two simple sentences. Then she'll look under your bed. When she's under the bed, she'll find your old tap shoes. Complex sentence. She'll try them on. She'll probably need something special to wear them. So as we notice in this little piece, we have a variety of complex sentences, simple sentences, and compound. And so we're going to have you give it a whirl. You're going to talk about, how you have a Dorito or you open up some Lay's potato chips and you try to just have one and you can't. And before you know it, you've scarfed the whole bag and then you're digging around and just like leaking off the little Cheetos dust at the bottom. You scarf the whole thing. So think about, you're going to do your own if you pick a pancake about something that you enjoy, which leads to another thing, right? So I wrote, if you give Beth a banana, she's going to want some ice cream to go with it. So that's my complex sentence, starting with, if you give me this, can't leave it hanging, I will need some ice cream. When you give her the ice cream, she will need chocolate syrup, comma, and she might try to pour some syrup directly in her mouth. So that is a compound complex. I added a comma and then I added another sentence. So you're going to give it a whirl. Let's have you open up the document you've been working on all week with Mrs. McCaskey, sentence exercises, and we can scroll and roll until we find Monday. Okay, so I will pause and I'll meet you right here on Monday. All right, here's where you're going to write your own if you give. And so you can start here. All right, I'll come up with an example. If you give me some Doritos, I will need some Mountain Dew to go with them. So that would be my complex sentence. Now I want you to add a compound sentence. I will drink the Mountain Dew, comma, and I will become a crazy rabid squirrel flying off the chandeliers. Okay, so come up with two sentences that are either like a complex compound or just a simple compound sentence. So give it a whirl right here. You have an example above. Just try it out. We're just trying out new sentence structures. I will pause and you can write your own Pig a Pancake version. So all we're really looking for here is, can you write a complex sentence? Can you try to follow it up with a compound sentence, which we haven't even really taught you yet, just kind of sprinkling out there to see what you can do, to become playful with our sentence structures as writers. So scroll down. This might be familiar to you. I hope it is. Conjunctions. Fanboys is the acronym. And there it is. It stands for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. And those are some mighty, tiny but mighty powerful words. And what they do is they join sentences. So we're going to kick it over to conjunction, junction, and we're going to watch a little bit. And I want you to think about, what is the function of a conjunction? All right. And then you'll be writing that in your notes. What is the function of a conjunction? A little old school, Schoolhouse Rocks.
Schoolhouse Rocking, the chip on the block of your favorite Schoolhouse Rock. You've been waiting for Conjunction Junction.
Conjunction Junction, what's your function?
Hooking up words and phrases and clauses.
Conjunction Junction, how's that function.
I got 3 favorite cars that get most of my job done.
Conjunction, junction, what's their function?
I got and, but, and or. They'll get you pretty far. And that's an additive like this and that. But that's sort of the opposite. Not this, but that. And then there's or. O-R. When you have a choice like this or that. And, but, and or get you pretty far.
Conjunction, junction, what's your function?
Hooking up 2 boxcars and making them run right. Milk and honey, bread and butter, peas and rice.
Hey, that's nice.
Dirty but happy, digging and scratching, losing your shoe and a button or 2. He's poor but honest, sad but true. Boo-hoo-hoo-hoo!
Conjunction, junction, what's your function?
Hooking up 2 cars to 1 when you say something like this. Choice, either now or later, or no choice. Neither now nor ever.
Hey, that's clever.
Eat this or that, grow thin or fat. Never mind, I wouldn't do that. I'm fat enough now.
Conjunction, junction, what's your function?
Hooking up phrases and clauses that balance like out of the frying pan and into the fire. He cut loose the sandbags, but the balloon wouldn't go any higher. Let's go up to the mountains or down to the seas. You should always say thank you or at least say please.
Conjunction, junction, what's your function?
Hooking up words and phrases and clauses in complex sentences like, in the mornings when I'm usually wide awake, I love to take a walk through the gardens and down by the lake where I often see a duck and a drake. And I wonder as I walk by just what they'd say if they could speak. Although I know that's an absurd thought.
Conjunction, junction, what's your function?
Hooking up cars and making them function.
Conjunction, junction, how's that function?
I like tying up words and phrases and clauses.
All right. Sorry if that's in your head forever now. And so, what is the function of a conjunction? Go ahead and write that right here. What does a conjunction do in our language? Go for it. All right. Function of a conjunction is to join words, phrases, or clauses. And clauses, you could have dependent clauses, independent clauses. A clause just means it has a subject and a verb. But the big job they do is they join those clauses. They join sentences. So we can have compound sentences. And this is what a compound sentence is. You have 2 independent clauses or sentences joined with a conjunction. I read the novel, but my friend watched the movie. So conjunction, junction, little job, join words. Hey, I like Milky Way and Snickers. If we didn't have conjunctions, you'd have to say, I like Milky Way, period. I like Snickers, period. But those little words like and, or, but, right? They're joiners. They join ideas so your writing can flow. Should I trick or treat with my friends or with my cousins? So some phrases there, but their big job to join sentences. I'm going to dress up as Batman, comma, and I'm going to jump out of the bushes and scare little kids. So 2 ideas, 2 complete sentences joined together is compound. So sentence, and then you put a comma. It's like a little pause, and then you add one of these joiner words and, but, or, and then the rest of the second sentence, and now you have a compound. What do you think are the most common conjunctions we see? Which one do we use the most? I'd say and, probably or, maybe but. Made you say but. Okay, continuing on. So I would like you right here above this little snowball, write a compound sentence about something that you love to eat and something you do not. So you can't say, I like Fritos, but not Lay's potato chips, because that's just joining 2 words. But 2 whole sentences, like, I really love Colby Jack cheese, comma, but I detest Gouda cheese, okay? Or write about a show you really love, comma, but I detest what's a show you really do not like, okay? So you need 2 full sentences joined with a comma, okay? I read the novel, comma, but my friend watched the movie. Sentence 1, sentence 2. I will pause, write your first compound sentence. All right, and it'd be great if you could share out in your crew 3 to 5 volunteers to share their compound sentence. That would be phenomenal. Continued practice, thinking about recess and that giant snow boulder used to build. So we're going to start with a simple sentence. We're going to take on a prepositional phrase. Those aren't going away. They add more specificity to your writing, and they can create a little flurry of action. They add fluency. They help paint a picture. And then we're going to add a second sentence to that original sentence. So it's getting bigger. It's growing, that snowball. So let's go ahead. I have in my first example here, the snowball rolled. Subject, snowball, verb, rolled. It's kind of boring. I'm going to take on a prepositional phrase just to add some more fun, some interest there. The snowball rolled down the hill. That's still a simple sentence. Now I'm going to add a whole nother sentence to it. The snowball rolled down the hill, comma, and, there's my conjunction, and it crashed into a tree. So snowball rolled, subject, verb, it crashed, subject, verb. Your turn. Let's do one together. Come up with a simple sentence. So I might put, the Yeti searched for snowboarders, okay? I don't know, we got this abominable snowman. He's out on the slopes searching for snowboarders to bring back to his lair to ravage. Now I want to add a prepositional phrase for a little bit more interest there. So where is the Yeti doing this? Okay, so I might say the Yeti searched for snowboarders. Now prepositional phrases like over, under, behind. I could say at Crystal Mountain, on, or I'll say by the Clipper chairlift. Okay. The Yeti searched for snowboarders at Crystal Mountain by the Clipper chairlift. Okay. Looking for a little human to devour. We're going to add a whole nother sentence to that to make it compound. The Yeti searched for snowboarders at Crystal Mountain by, so I have double prepositional phrase there, by the Clipper chairlift, and he found 2 young ones to devour. So that is a compound sentence. I've got and joining sentence 1 to sentence 2. The Yeti searched for snowboarders at Crystal Mountain by the Clipper chairlift, comma, and he found 2 young ones to devour. Okay? So Yeti searched, he found. I'm rolling my sentence. It's getting bigger and more interesting. And those are the kind of sentences we want to see you writing this year. But you can't go on and combine sentences endlessly. You can do it here, sentence 1, sentence 2, and then a period. You can't run on and on and on and on forever. Then you put your end mark, and then you move on to your next idea. So I'm going to pause here to try it out. Come up with a simple sentences about winter, right? Snowflakes dance. The snowflakes danced, across my windshield. And then add another sentence to it. The snowflakes danced across my windshield, comma, and I began to sing happily as I drove, period. Okay? Go for it. Try simple, then a prepositional phrase, then compound. I will pause. Okay, fantastic. And in your cruise, if you would like 3 people to share out how they went from simple prepositional phrase to a compound, that would be phenomenal. And then I'm going to stop this video, and I have a second video that's going to demonstrate and walk you through our little hands-on activity using sentence strips to close our hour. We're going to be using a complex and also creating a compound sentence today. All right, see you in a sec.